Welcome to We Hear Her. I'm Erin Trenbeth Murray, and I'm here today with another amazing woman who is sharing her story and insights into life lessons learned. Hi, I'm Erin Trenbeth Murray, and we are here today for the We Hear Her podcast for women who succeed. And today is a fun episode because I get to talk to my two mentees who do not even know that they, in my mind, are my mentees. No, I'm kidding. They have taught me so much that I could be theirs. Anyway, these lovely women are brilliant and smart and are leading the charge for success in education and women who succeed. And so I wanted to dive in a little bit today and talk with them about their journey in creating the program. A big part of the crew that built this plane while they flew it, and wanted you to get a chance to know them a little bit. So a lot of you, I think, know Mallory Santa Cruz because she was really in the original startup group when we began Women Who Succeed. She created the whole mentoring plan, the mentor workbook, all the resources, and helped me map out a really strong game plan. So Mallory's background is she has worked in city government, the American Red Cross, and success in education, and recently was promoted to vice president of the foundation, taking my role, and it was so well deserved and earned. So I'm so happy she's here, and I want to talk to her a little bit about what that journey has been like for her. And then I also have Amy Browning, who is just such a light to all of us in the office. In fact, the young women in the office call her their mother hen, and she's running around mother henning them all the time, which we love and laugh about. But Amy came to us in a really strange, kind of unique way, and she had been in medical sales, and she has been a buyer for Nordstrom's and the Grand America, and a very professional career. Went back to school to finish a degree, and came on to help us a little bit as a volunteer, and then was able to talk her into staying. And so she has been promoted to Senior Development Director. She oversees all the membership and fundraising for Women Who Succeed. So if anybody's company out there wants to get involved, give money to Amy. She's your gal. So with that, ladies, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
The twins, I know, you too. So alike, yet so different. So let's start, Mallory, with you.
Okay.
You had a big life change this year.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I had my first baby. I had my daughter,
Yes.
Ivy Sophia. She is 10 months old now, and it has just been amazing. It's been amazing becoming a first-time mom. I feel like I've gained so much perspective and experience as a working mom of being able to balance both and finding both things so equally fulfilling. Hard at times, but so worth it.
It's funny, you get down this path and you're like, this feels so great to be at work. Sometimes you're like, it's so great to be at home.
Exactly.
Well, I'm glad you've mastered it at the ripe age of 10 months.
I did not say that.
No, I'm teasing you. No, we're so happy. We need you to bring her in.
She's fun. She's very fun, very energetic.
Good. And Amy, what I'd love to start with a little chit chat with you about is kind of your recent journey with finishing your degree and help. I think that, a lot of the young women and women that are in Women Who Succeed have gone through, many of them through similar paths. And I hear regularly from women about returning, finishing degrees, got into this really great career, got them on a great trajectory. And I'm just interested, like, why you decided at this stage in your life to go back and get your degree.
Gosh, yeah. Actually, several reasons. But first of all, I have to say you are a mentor for me. And I would shout it from the rooftops every single day. And thank you incredibly much for your mentorship and inspiration every single day. So
my pleasure. Well, I'm an old woman, so it's easy to do.
Well, we won't go there since we're, of the same generation. But I would say what challenged me the most was the pandemic. Like so many other women out there who are working and trying to balance everything. And I found myself in this retail space of the world kind of collapsing around me and really needing to pivot and change what I was doing to not only keep myself healthy, mentally and physically, and seeing what my kids were doing. And my kids were in school. My kids were playing collegiate ball and so many things that they were also inspiring me to do, and knowing, you know what, I have the power to change what I'm doing now. If I don't like what I'm doing now, I need to change it. And decided to go back and get my degree in professional sales. I've been selling for years and years and years, but that paper and documentation helped me to get into other things, like further my career in pharmaceutical sales and explore other avenues that I hadn't, without that piece of paper. So I'm kind of proof positive that it doesn't matter how long you're out. 30 years is the last time I was at Weaver State, and I went back, 2 years ago to pursue this. And
Bravo.
I think you should always, always continue learning. And I'm really glad that I did that. So I would for sure tell anyone who might be in the same boat, that's what also drives me, is that continuing learning process. Don't ever be stagnant.
Right.
And I just landed in a really great spot, asked you for an internship, thought it was a 6-week thing, and
Here you are.
I couldn't walk away.
Well, and thank heaven for us, because you've been such a mentor to the young women on the team. And talk about continual learning. I mean, every day, new words they teach us, new things that are hip and cool, names of musical artists.
Today, in fact, I learned a new artist. So
Who's the new artist?
I can't remember.
But we learned it for a hot minute. So Mallory, you came on and I had recruited you because I knew you were so good at providing structure and strategy. And we were trying to figure out how to do Kangaroo sports. We were trying to figure out how to provide really strong measurable metrics in the overall foundation for our different programs. And we definitely needed to figure out Women Who Succeed. Oh, we also had code at that time. How would you describe to our group of women what the journey has been like for you over the last 2.5 years?
Incredibly satisfying, very fast-paced. One of the things that really drew me to Success in Education, one was I knew I loved working with you. I felt like we had really similar working styles, and I was excited to get to work more closely with you. But Success in Education, it was a mission that was really personal to me. I firsthand in my own family have seen the value of education. My dad and I went to college at the same time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so for me, being able to see how even later in his life, the difference that it had on his self-esteem, on our family's well-being, on, financial security, it was something that really touched me. And it was a fun experience to go through with my dad, but I knew how valuable education was and how it could impact generations. And so when I came on board, it was really satisfying to come in and do meaningful work and to really work in a fast-paced environment of making meaningful impact for students in Utah. I think for me, one of the first things was Code to Success. I did not have a background in tech, which but coming to see, okay, how do we help these students overcome barriers? How do we help them complete coding boot camps? What barriers are they experiencing? Why aren't they completing them? And then taking those lessons to Keys to Success. Why aren't students applying to college? Why aren't they completing FAFSA? Why aren't they applying for scholarships? And taking those lessons and being able to pivot quickly and make strategic decisions to help students has been one of my favorite parts of my job. The other favorite part was launching Women Who Succeed, and that was originally the spark that brought me over, because it is an area that I'm so passionate about, is building leadership and confidence in women. And that has been such a fun journey. It's been fun to start from ground level. It's been fun to hear stories firsthand of students, female students through Women Who Succeed and the other programs, and see the impact that it has on them. See how having a meaningful mentor, how receiving a scholarship, completing an internship has really turned everything around for them. And so it's been a really busy, really fun, really satisfying 2.5 years.
You said several times, fast pace and pivot. What do you think we all could have done better with our younger staff that were fairly not very tenured in their careers, just starting out, to help that not transition, but to help them get used to the pace and to get used to the flexibility,
Yeah.
that entrepreneurial feeling of,
Yeah.
this isn't working. We're going to call it out right now, and we're
Right.
going to change that. Like, there's anything that you wish we would have done differently?
That's a really good question. I think I want to preface by saying that for me, fast-paced and pivot is not necessarily a negative thing. I think it goes with
not
that.
to me either.
I think it goes back to the entrepreneurial spirit. I think we have a small team. I think we're very agile. I think that as the need of students changes, as the environment changes, post-pandemic, we've had to pivot. And I think the world has had to pivot multiple times. But going back to your question about, helping our younger team in tenure, I think one of the things that we could have done better is, I think that creativity and innovation is important. I think that when you're young in a role, you like structure. You go from an internship role where they give you, here's a checklist of things to do. And so when you go into your first, entry level role, you kind of have that mindset still of here's what success looks like. Here's what my job entails. I'm going to go down and check the box. And so setting the expectation, helping them rather than someone else coming in and saying, what does success look like? How do you measure success in an objective? How do you know if it's time to make a change? I think having that conversation from the beginning and empowering them so that they say, hey, this is something that is working really well. This particular aspect is really functioning. Maybe I could take that lesson and apply it over here. And I think fostering that early in roles of that empowerment, that creativity, that innovation, and being able to recognize when there is a need to pivot.
Yeah, maybe to that point, fostering that creativity or helping them to recognize that you are a problem solver. You can figure this out. I do trust you.
Absolutely.
What can you do that's creative that would make it different? Because I do
100%.
I do tend to think that I definitely, both of my personal, family, motherhood life and my work life, I like to problem solve. And we had a podcast with Laura Pfeiffer, and she likes to Nancy Drew it. So she likes to, when there's a problem, she likes to Nancy Drew it and figure it out and analyze it. But I probably take that to too much of an extreme with not letting others use their creativity to fail, right? Let them fail fast, support them, pivot, move forward.
I think that's actually a lesson I learned from you is you have such a wealth of knowledge. And I think it's easy when you have a wealth of knowledge to be able to pull back on, here's a pattern I've seen, here's an experience I've had, here's something that I've seen this before and it's easy to replicate. And I think that you've done a really good job of showing, telling, teaching, and then turning it over to me for future opportunities of, giving an example of what problem solving looks like. Sometimes you make your best guess based off of the information that you have at the time and moving forward with it. But I've really seen and learned that from you personally.
Cute. There's also a balance, though, of deadlines and
Absolutely.
Those things that when you do have to pivot and, there are things that have to be in a certain order and a certain structure that I see Erin's side and point also is it's hard sometimes to let those failures happen because that lean, mean team, and we do have only so many pairs of boots on the ground and all of those things in place that sometimes it's like, hey, we should do it this way, and that structure is in place for a reason. So I see it both ways as someone who has been in the biz for a long time. It's sometimes it is hard to nurture that creativity when you have them signed up for essential functions of the job. So I absolutely see that as well. And when they're looking to you for that guidance, it's hard as us mother hens tend to, let me help you.
Yeah, let me fix it.
Yeah,
I can help you.
Yeah, I'm a fixer and I'll guide you. And so Mallory's
I think that's
really
your gut
good at
reaction.
That. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of when you like your previous experience, I mean, we are so grateful that the Garfs cover our admin, our overhead, our salaries, so that the women's gifts and donations are used for the scholarships, some of the internships, the networking events for them, all of that, the college age mentors, those stipends. How have you used, or do you see much, maybe a better question is, do you see parallels, maybe you don't, between your previous sales experience and now that you are selling Women Who Succeed, right? You have to, you are cultivating revenue because we need to have that revenue to give, to pass on to these young girls. That's the whole point. They need this extra boost. We're trying to give them a leg up. So do you see parallels, or is it very, very different in your approach?
I think, it's incredibly similar. I think it's relationship based. I think it all stems and starts from how you cultivate that with people and where you elect and select those donors and gifts and who you are surrounded by and the passion that you relay. People can see it and smell it. If you're not in love with what you do, it shows.
Yeah.
You'll never be successful if you don't believe in what you're doing. And I think that is why this has been an easy thing for me to transition to. And they do say that corporate fundraising is really, really difficult. I haven't found that because I think people understand the assignment. And I think people are all in this together.
Oh, I love that.
We want our kids to be successful, and they're not getting anything tangible for their donation, but they can feel it and they can see this and they can join and hold the hands of all of these kids that they're helping, and we're collectively moving the needle. And that for me is way more rewarding than selling a sweater or, medical products or whatever else is out there. I think this is something that's been incredibly rewarding for me. It fuels my fire for sure.
Is there either one of you, is there a particular story of a young woman that you've either spoken to, that you've read their application, something that has struck you that you're like, I remember that one, or it's like the starfish scenario, right? It's like it made a difference. I tell people all the time, John Garf always asks me, how scalable is this? Can this be scaled? Can we automate this? Can we do this? And the answer is no, it's not very scalable because we take such care in trying to really focus on each starfish before we throw them back into the ocean. And it made a difference to this one. Is there a young woman that either of you can think of that has stuck with you as you've been going forward with your jobs?
I just had a conversation with a young woman this week, actually, Brinkley, and she is a former or current mentee, actually, and she is now working on a project in her high school to fundraise. And she called me for some help and guidance because they were really struggling in this and saying, I'm really trying, what am I doing and how do I do this? And understanding where she got that confidence and understanding how she came through this program and reached out to me and said, I need more help. I need you to do this. Can you please help me through this process? She felt comfortable and confident enough to get the tools that she needed to be successful at what she was doing. And then at the end of this call, asked me for a personal donation.
Oh, good on her.
And I said, you better believe I will donate to your cause. Oh, and I thought, we have done our job.
Great job, Amy. That's neat.
Have done our job, and whomever mentored her, I'd like to first acknowledge them that you did give her the confidence, because that's hard.
It's hard. Money is a sensitive subject. Yeah.
So hard. And she asked for help. She gave me all of her obstacles. She said, what now? How do I pivot? And by the way, would you make a personal donation? And I was so incredibly proud of her. And that will absolutely stick with me, because those are three very hard things to do.
That's a good story. Really good.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. That's what we're trying to do for these young women. And this project will change her for sure.
For me, a story that sticks out is Tanya Yu. Tanya has been with Women Who Succeed for 3 years, and it has been so amazing. One, to get to know her and to see her progress. I mean, from the time you're 15 to 18, there's a lot of life lessons learned in that time. But to watch her grow in confidence, she came in as a sophomore at West High School. And Tanya, she had an idea of what she wanted to do. She knew her interests, but really had no idea what her future held. And so she had 3 years of mentorship with incredible women. You know, she worked.
Is that Susan Johnson?
Susan Johnson. And she just really developed such a strong relationship with Susan Johnson. And over the years, she was able to do a series of internships. She interned with Proximity. She was a Code to Success mentor. She interned with Keys to Success with our foundation. She got some good experience. She went on and got involved in her high school, a lot of extracurricular and leadership opportunities. She asked a lot of questions. She did informational interviews. She had gotten a lot of information. She really kind of scraped the brains of people around her through networking. And she ended up going to an Ivy League school. And it was just so cool to see her build confidence from those early stages of, I don't really know what I want to do, to having a set plan, a good direction, and the confidence to succeed.
She reminds me, and that several girls are running through my mind, but we've had several women that have said, I cannot believe I've been asked to mentor her. She's so smart. She's on top of it. Does she really need a mentor? However, even with having a spectacular academic, or the GPA or the ACT or whatever it is, the common element when we look around and we pitch, we talk to other women about women who succeed, it doesn't take very much, right? It's not a hard sales pitch because you're just talking to a woman and you're saying, I want it a little easier for young women. I want them to have the wheels greased a little bit. I want them to know how to look someone in the eye and shake their hand. I want them to know how to use LinkedIn. I want them to know what social media is for. I want them to understand what a resume looks like to highlight their qualities. And those things truly come from the mentors and the time the women give. So whether it's a young gal with really limited experience from a tiny rural town in Utah to a young woman that may seem like they have it all together. I mean, I certainly didn't have it close to being all together at 15, 16, 17, 29, 35.
And even if they think they do.
Yeah, they actually don't.
There's so many things to learn when they get into the program and think, oh my gosh, I didn't even think of this.
I didn't even think of that.
I knew exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just want you two both to know how much I love learning from you and appreciate. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful every day that I get to come to work with you. I want to have the rest of my careers with you, but no pressure. But I truly know that the work that we're doing is really purpose-driven, and it means a lot that I know your hearts are in the exact spot and in the exact place for these young women. So thank you.
We appreciate you as well.
Absolutely.
All righty. Well, with that, that's it for our special edition of the We Hear Her podcast for Women Who Succeed. Remember to look us up on womenwhosucceed.org, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for taking the time to hear her. Join our efforts and learn more about Women Who Succeed at womenwhosucceed.org.